Hi guys, White Witch 110 here. Yes, a third video today. I put up the other two of the baseball game in our LRT since it was actually working. But I'm going to continue with Away from the Cabin. So get yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or hot chocolate. Curl up. When he was sure Lisa was asleep, Scott made his way to the gazebo. He was thinking back to the bar. Why had he thought she'd be on her own when she came? He had believed Sage was only a friend. Hearing the word boyfriend had thrown him off. He would have whisked her away if the opportunity had presented itself. I'll always love her, but I can't have her, he admitted woefully. Scott made his way back to the cabin. He stood outside, staring at it. He wasn't going back in tonight. Instead, he went back to the apartment. Scott went directly to the window without turning on the lights. This wasn't the same. Lisa woke in the morning alone. This irritated her quite a lot. That damn woman. I'll teach her. She picked up her phone and speed dialed Scott. Groggily, Scott answered. Hello? Scott, where are you? Her voice was close to demanding. I'm at the apartment. Why didn't you stay here? She asked further. Because I didn't feel like it. And to get things straight, I'm not your boyfriend. I've never said that. And I never will. Well, don't feel obligated to come back. And she hung up. Scott didn't give a shit. Sage woke Abigail. Hey, sleepyhead, time to get up. Why, it's so comfortable and warm. I'd rather stay in bed. Abigail, I'd love nothing better, Sage began. She took hold of his arm, causing him to fall back onto the mattress. One passionate kiss after another. Breakfast would wait. They made love with a consuming devotion. I need to go back east to get the rest of my things. Are you good to come? Sage asked. Whenever you want, I'm good, she answered. Within the week, they flew back. Being on her old stomping grounds, Abigail realized how much she missed it, though seeing old friends made her think twice. It seemed to her she was sliding right back to where she left. Sage could see how uncomfortable Abby felt, being back. How long are we staying? She inquired of him. Just a couple of days. Together they boxed up all that he wasn't going to take. Those boxes would go to charity. The things he wanted fit in an extra luggage that he had bought. In all, they spent 4 days in the city. Saying goodbye again was the easiest thing to do. Landing back home, they both could breathe. As much as I missed Toronto, once there, I was ready to come home, Abigail said. I feel more relaxed now that I'm here. This does feel like home, Sage told her. Abigail had made space in the small addition for his items that he had brought. You're really staying. It's the first time I've felt safe in forever. Sage placed his arms around her waist. I am beyond words being here with you. He kissed her gently. Their relationship grew as the months passed. Sage made up his mind. It was time to take that step. What's all this? Abigail asked, walking in with the mail. I'm going to fix us a romantic dinner. All the trimmings. That sounds wonderful. You go read and relax. Leave everything to me. Sage continued to cook. When dinner was ready, he dimmed the lights and lit the candles. Right this way, my dear. Abigail took his hand, and he led her to the kitchen. Oh my God, Sage! He held the chair out for her. They started with a garden salad and ended with a shared lava cake. He had scattered petals on the bed and in the bath. More candles. The tiny house had a warm glow. Emotions high and bodies yearning, they made love. Their heat caused a nearby window to fog. Their heat drove the passion further until they made love again. The sweat mingled freely over their skin. Tired as they were, Sage brought her to the soaking tub. Red petals floated on the surface. The sweet smell of citrus rose from the warm, welcoming water. Satisfied and relaxed, Sage and Abigail crawled into bed under clean, gray sheets. The following afternoon, Sage was coming out of the bank. Sage! He heard his name called out. Hey man, how are you? It was Scott. I'm fine, how are you? Sage was wondering what this was about. I'm good. Just moved back into the apartment. Oh, really? What was he up to? Yeah, I couldn't take another night with Lisa. The girl is obsessed. One of those crazy fans. That's too bad. But I guess you need to do what feels right. Sage was waiting for it. How's Abigail? She's fine. We had a nice romantic evening last night. Sage attempted to make things clear without being curt. Nice. I'm sure she appreciated it. Scott was angry. We had a great time. Sage paused. Well, I've got things to do. Nice seeing you. They shook hands. Scott knew Abigail still had feelings for him. He had seen it in her face that night. But Sage had moved in, making it impossible to be with her now. He hoped their relationship wouldn't last. Realizing pursuing Scott was pointless, Lisa soon moved out of the cabin. It had been a huge mistake on her part. She said not a word to him the day the moving trucks arrived. Any woman who tried to get involved with him wouldn't have a chance. Abigail was always there, even when she wasn't. Sage never mentioned meeting Scott that day. Hey, babe, what you doing? Sage asked Abigail, sitting at her desk. Just trying to finish up these contracts. For the next 3 months, they are super busy right now. Do you need to go in? No, not yet. Likely Friday. Abigail sat back and rubbed her eyes. Why don't you take a break? Sage massaged her shoulders. I could fall asleep. That feels so good. She closed her eyes. Scott's voice came over the radio. Sage felt a slight response under his hands. Abigail. Sage looked her in the eyes. You still have feelings. She gently kissed him. No. Sage didn't second guess her words. He could see that she was sincere. He took her in his arms. My feelings for you won't change, she assured him. Abigail got to work. Sage had some editing to do for a friend back in Toronto. He had an eye for putting things together. Friday morning, Abigail was at work. Mel, are the Browns here tonight to set up? She inquired. They'll be here this afternoon. The wedding is at 1 tomorrow, he informed her. Do they need help? I'll be assisting. Do you want to join us? Sure. Things will move quicker. We know the space, Abigail pointed out. When the Browns arrived, the four got to work. Mel helped them unload into the room. Abigail made sure tables and chairs were in place. Box by box, everything was unpacked, and the setup was easy. They were nearly complete when Mel heard a scream. He ran along with the Browns. There was Abigail spread out on the floor, writhing in pain. "My goodness, what happened?" Mrs. Brown asked. "I missed a step and went over on my ankle. I can't put weight on it. I feel like I'm going to pass out." Mel had already called the ambulance. Once at the hospital, he called Sage. "Did you get hold of him?" Abigail asked. "No, but I'll keep trying." He left a message, hoping to hear from him soon. Time passed, and Abigail was an X-ray. Mel did what he knew he shouldn't. "Scott, I'm at the hospital with Abigail." "So why are you calling me?" he wanted to know. "Because I can't get hold of Sage." Scott felt happy with this news. "I'll be there, no problem." This was his chance to move in. Sage was nowhere to be found. He would look the hero. "Thank goodness you're here," Mel said, seeing Scott. "He still hasn't called?" "No." They moved to the window of her room. They gave her something for the pain. Nothing is broken, but ankle and knee badly sprained. "I'll go see her." Scott opened the door and walked in. "Hell of a way to get my attention," he chuckled. "Mel called you?" "Yes, he hasn't been able to get a hold of your boyfriend." He moved closer to her side. She wanted to tell him off, but Abigail didn't have it in her. "Thanks, Scott." He moved a chair up so he could sit. "What happened?" Mel didn't say. Abigail went over it. "Wow. Relax, I'll make sure you get home. Any prescriptions to be filled?" "I don't know, but probably. I'll make sure it gets filled." He glanced down for a moment. "I still love you." "Scott, this isn't the time for this." "I know. I seen the way you looked at him." "Scott, stop it. You can leave if you're going to be like this." Okay. I'm sorry. I'm being selfish." Abigail looked at him. Sage finally made it to the hospital. "Mel, where is she? How is she?" "Where have you been?" "She's in the room. She's all right. Bad sprain to ankle and knee." Sage went over to the window. "What's he doing here?" "I called him." Mel stood his ground. "Why?" "Because you weren't answering my messages." "Well, I'm here now." Sage was upset. Mel grabbed his arm. "Don't cause a scene." "I won't." Sage walked in. "Hi, Scott. Thanks for coming, but I'm here now." "No problem. We may be exes, but I still care." "Well, Abby, I'll leave you in his capable hands." Scott leaned over and kissed her forehead. "Where were you?" she asked, feeling the medication starting to work. "On a Zoom meeting regarding the video. As soon as we were done, I got the message." "When can you leave?" "Once the doctor sees me. I'm getting crutches. I really fell out of it." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "It's so painful." "It's all right, babe. I'll get you home." "We'll need to stop for your meds first, though." Mel had entered the room. "I can get those and bring them over. You get her home and settled." Once home, Sage got Abigail into bed. He made himself a cup of coffee and tried to relax. He wondered what Scott had said. Abigail's dreams were consumed with Scott. He was singing to her, dancing with her, loving her. He was the young man she had fell in love with. Abigail watched his hair flowing in the sunlight. She could hear him calling her. Her eyes slowly opened. "Hey, do you feel like eating?" "It's late. You've slept the entire time." It was Sage. "What time is it?" 10. "Maybe a light sandwich?" Sage suggested. Sounds good. I am hungry. He helped her sit up. I'll stay in the spare room tonight, he said. No, I want you here. Okay, I'll stay with you, Sage told her. Over the next few days, Abigail took things easy. By the 5th day, she was sitting in the living room. Babe, I'm going out to get some groceries. Just then there was a knock on the door. Hi, come on in. It was Nicole. I'm going for groceries. Be back shortly. Sage left. Hi, Abby. I hope you don't mind. It's fine. Abigail adjusted herself. Still pretty sore? Yes, Sage makes sure I take my meds. I'm glad. How are things? Nicole asked. We're fine. Things are great. He's a thoughtful guy. Are you in love? Nicole asked, hoping not to get her head bit off. I am. It's a comfortable feeling. It just flows, Abigail explained. I'm truly happy for you. You deserve it. Thank you. The cousins sat and talked. Nicole brewed up a cup of tea. When Sage came home, Nicole helped to get the bags inside. Did you want to stay for dinner? Thanks, but I need to get home to Brad. It's been great seeing you. Maybe we'll come for a visit. So things went well? He asked Nicole. Yes, I'm glad you called. Listen, I'm sorry I doubted, but you can understand, can't you? Nicole asked. Sure I can. Sage smiled. I'm happy she has you. Sounds like you two are perfect together. I don't know about perfect, but we enjoy what we have. Sage see Nicole to the door after she hugged her cousin good night. You had a good visit? He asked. Thanks to you. She didn't give an opinion. She just listened. Good. Fresh start for you both. Sage looked forward to the cousins spending time together. She said that girl Lisa moved out of the cabin. I guess she didn't get what she wanted, Sage added. We'll leave it there. We're at 17 minutes right now. So stay tuned for the next installment, hopefully tomorrow night. Thank you for joining me. As always, my YouTube family, I greatly appreciate you. Anybody new to my channel, please check out my other videos. If you find something that you like, remember, thumbs up, drop me a comment, share it out if you think someone else would be interested. Always greatly appreciated. While you're here, consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, remember to click the notification bell so that you'll know the next time that I upload. And until that time, from a very sunburnt white witch 110, ciao for now.